Hello and welcome to this episode of Stories That Shape Us. My name is Joanna Daniel. I'm using this episode to answer a question that I was asked based on two of the episodes that I did last week on decision making, on what to do when people don't agree with your decision. And the question was, what can you do when you don't have support around decision making? So that's a slight, it's similar but slightly different, because what is being asked is, what can I do when I have people in my life that I want support from, people that I'm connected to, people that are important to me, but they don't support the things that I do. And a couple of things can be happening when that happens. It can send a message of lack of acceptance, lack of belonging, and lack of care. And when it sends those messages can be deeply wounding to us when we don't have support around our decision making. So here is the thing. Not everybody is going to agree with the decisions that you make. There are always going to be people who disagree with your decisions, not necessarily because your decision is not a good decision or not the best one for you, but because they want authority over your life. They want power over your life. And controlling your decisions and the things that you do gives them power and authority. Now, when that has been the dynamic in your relationship and you step out and do something that is different or might be perceived as different to them, when you haven't checked your decisions with them, when you haven't asked for their permission, when you haven't gone ahead and done what they say to do, but you're now learning how to stand independent and be independent, that is always going to create a problem. Not because what you do is wrong or your decision's wrong, but because they're losing control. And when they feel like they're losing control over you, then the lack of support comes out in very different ways, many different ways that might show itself. So that might show itself through trying to be coercive, like lots of manipulation and control. And because they feel like they're losing that power, that ability to manipulate and control you. So they'll try to do it in other ways. They'll try to put you down. They'll try to break you down. They'll try to say things that are deliberately aimed at kind of destabilizing you and affecting your self-esteem, because now they're going to try another angle to try and manipulate you. If they learned and if they see that you're stepping out, you're learning how to put boundaries in place. And one of the boundaries that you're put in place, or you're growing in confidence. One of the ways that you're growing in confidence might be, I am going to make a decision on my own. I'm going to make a decision for myself. When you do that, that can create problems, not because, again, you're doing anything wrong, but this person or these people are losing control. They don't want that. They want to tell you what to do. They want to dictate your life. They want to take autonomy from you. And they want you to be a mini them or a puppet that is being manipulated and controlled by them, that is being managed by them. They want you to be an extension of themselves. They won't say it in those words. They will try to make you feel like they have your best interest at heart. And because they have your best interest at heart, then you should do what they say. Oftentimes, these people don't really know you. When I say know you, they might be in your life for a long time. You might know some of them all your life, but they don't really know you because they never sat to listen to you, to hear your heart, to know the things that you like, the things that you don't like. They might not know your favorite color or the book that lights you up or the genre of music that you listen to or how you like to spend your quiet time. They might not know those intricate details of your life that really is meaningful to you. They don't really care. They won't take the time to get to know you. They will just know. And so even if your decision's based on those things and is in that direction, it won't matter to them as long as they are maintaining control over your life. That's all that they care about. Now, this can be complicated if the person who is upset by your decision is a parent and you have culturally been trained that parents are always right We should always cater to them. We should always listen to them, and we should always do what they want. That is never the recipe for a happy life. Because unless, again, your parents know you, when you're an adult, you have the right to make your own decision. There's a quote that I learned from a book called Child Guidance, and I first learned it in a program that we did and it says, every individual created in the image of God has power akin to that of the Creator. Individuality, power to think and to do. Every individual. That means you. That means as long as you're an adult, you can learn how to make decisions that are right for your life. And we honor our parents, and we choose to honor our parents. However, you're still an individual. You have gifts, you have talents, you have likes, you have dislikes, you have characteristics and you have individual opinions that you are entitled to. And therefore, the decisions that you make comes from that place. And sometimes parents are well-meaning, sometimes they are not. And we can love our parents, we can honor our parents, and we can still accept that the things that they do are not always with our best interests at heart, that they don't always mean well, that sometimes they don't always understand, that sometimes what is the driving force behind the push for the decision is not based on necessarily what's best for you, but it's based on what gives them value and capital when they talk to their friends. So we can know all of those things, still honor them, and honor ourselves. We don't have to abandon ourselves to honor our parents. We can do both. I know that that might not be solved by listening to one episode of a podcast, but I invite you to sit with those feelings and to find somebody who's trusted and trained to help you to navigate this area if your decisions are unsupported by your parents, but you know that it's not because they have your best interest at heart, or it's not because they really know you, or it's not because they know that this course that they want you to go study, this person that they want you to marry, this place that they want you to go, this job that they want you to have, it's not because they think it's best thing for you, but it's what helps them make them look good as they talk to their friends. I know people who say, I'm going to do this degree, I'm going to hand it to my parents, and then I'm going to go off and do what I want. That's 3 years you'll never get back. So that is a journey of understanding yourself, of building your confidence enough to, sometimes we have to undo the stories of culture, undo a lot of stories so that we can fully stand in our God-given individuality, so that we can make decisions that are honoring to us, even if they're unsupported by the people that we love. And once again, that's a journey. So that might be something that you need to explore some more with someone to be able to understand it fully. Now, there are times when we're married and our decisions are unsupported by our spouse, by our partners. What do we do then? Now, there's a lot of teaching around submission. That means that you shouldn't, if you're a female, shouldn't have ideas that are exclusive or that are not stamp approved by your partner, by your husband. But once again, as I said earlier with parents, you are an individual. You are an individual. You have opinions, you have rights, you have values, you have all of those things that are different and are separate. Now, I'm not trying to create disharmony or anything else. And I think if this creates disharmony, that means there wasn't harmony to begin with. So if your decisions are unsupported, of course, we have conversations, we learn how to negotiate, we learn to compromise, we learn how to do all of those things and communicate effectively and manage the communication, so it doesn't result in a conflict. But if this is something that you feel that you should do, this is a path that you feel is honoring to who you are and the gifts and talents that God has given you, then even with support, get help to make that decision that is going to be honoring. Because I'll tell you this, if you make a decision that is unsupported and you abandon it, you are never going to be happy. Even if we can talk ourselves into doing anything. We can talk ourselves into accepting anything, but there's going to be that void that is left that is not fulfilled, that is empty. Now, hear this as I'm saying it, right? So I'm inviting you to have discussions and this is of course from the basis of your decisions are thought through. You understand what is right for you, and you know the path that you should take. Have conversations, but once again, get help and support to manage your boundaries and to maintain your individuality. Now, if your decisions based on families and friends that are unsupported, and you're feeling alone, and you're feeling abandoned because it's unsupported, sometimes that can happen depending on what the decision is and how meaningful it is to us. And this might be, you'll need to find a community of people that are more aligned, a community of people that you share similar interests. Not that all of your decisions are going to be stamped approved or okayed or supported. And that's also something to kind of sit with, that not all my decisions are going to be supported by the people that love me and I love. And it might not be because they don't mean the best for me. They might not just agree with this decision. But if you are fully convinced that this is what you should do, you've done all your work, then sometimes when we step out and do the thing that we are convinced to do, the people who love us will come along. And the people who love us will watch it, will see how it grows and develop, and they'll find areas to support. Now, that might be difficult when you're unsupported and now you're supported. That might be, you now have to sometimes do the work of bridging the gap of between the sadness that you felt around being unsupported and now the acceptance that slowly came as they see evidence that backed up your decision. And it might be a tricky place to navigate. As I like to say, sit with all the feelings and work through it and see what it feels like for you. Get help when you need it. Get help when you need it is the message I want to leave you with. If you're making decisions and it's happening over and over, it's a repeated thing in your life where people don't support your decision making. People don't respect the decisions that you make, and you're feeling lost and alone. You're feeling like that you don't have a sense of belonging. And we all want to belong to someone and somewhere. Like I said, we always belong to ourselves first. So try to do the work or get help to be at home with you. We belong to God, and He always will send people that is aligned with us, that we can build community and find belonging. So I want to invite you to go on that journey if you haven't done it yet, of learning that sense of belonging to self, to God, and then get directed to community that is aligned, where we can rest and find peace. Once again, it doesn't mean that this community will always support us, but as long as you support you and you're fully convicted in what you're doing, then step out and do what you are impressed to do. That might be something that somebody else needs, and you're going to help somebody to advance, change their lives, and do something different and help themselves, and perhaps change the course of their family. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Stories That Shape Us. I hope you'll join me on the next story.